Taking the track right now in black and pink, it's the Brutal Beauties. Brutal Beauties take the track tonight looking for their third win of the young season, and skating tonight for the Beauties, number 00, Novocaine. Number 2011, Colette Razorcat. Number 38, doing double duty, NC Jammer. Number 4, Cherry Kiss. Number 555, Stevie Thunder. Number 616, Antifa. Number 69, Florence Puke. Number 925, Evil Twin. Number 95, Lightning the Queen. Number 96, All of You Die. Number 9, MK3, Gypsy Danger. Your co-captain of the Brutal Beauties, number 2323, Quiver Phoenix. And your captain of the Brutal Beauties, as always, number 2187, Princess Leia. Helping the team on their bench tonight are Troy McClure and Beelzebub.
All right, taking the track, that's your Schoolyard Scrappers. All right, skating for the Schoolyard Scrappers tonight, number 34, Pretty Hurt Machine. Number 68, Juicy Kill Tour. Number 300, Dolly Spartan. 440, Morning Madness. 487, Tequila. 669, Nikki Badass. 1212, Bonnie Banshee. 1981, Sandra Slay O'Connor. 90210, Beverly Kills. OMG, Killin' May Smalls. 1300, Psychosis. The co-captain of your Schoolyard Scrappers, number 1235, Bob Villain. And the captain of the Schoolyard Scrappers, 172, Pikachu. Helping the team on their bench tonight. Who we got? We got what, Mike? It's Thrill Sergeant and Call Me Maybe.
Get ready here. Did you know what Bonnie's, why her number is 1212? No. She told Frey and I at the last bout. She said, I'm so glad you say 1212 and not 1212. And I said, well, it says say 1212. And she goes, I said, what's it from? I said, is it 1212 mic check? And she goes, no, it's what everybody thinks. She goes, my grandma. All right, Derby fans, introductions done and in the books. We are ready for our second bout of the evening. I know we've got plenty of Scrappers fans and Beauties fans here. Who's just hanging out from the first bout and ready to just watch more roller derby action, yeah? First time? Yeah, a couple of people, cool. If you're just getting here, you missed one heck of a bout early on. We ended up with 2 penalty jams, which essentially for bank track roller derby is like double overtime. It's pretty good. Anyway, we are just about ready to get underway. We've got finger guns up from nearly all the regulators. Finger guns mean ready. There we go. There's the whistle we're looking for. All right. Looks like we got nobody in the penalty box. That's announcer humor. It's the first jam. Up to the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties is your captain, Princess Sleia. Your jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers is Pretty Hurt Machine. Started off with two skaters who often jam for their respective teams. Quickly now, both jammers out right at the same time. Right at the same time, and that was going to be mutually assured destruction. So our first jam is over after 10 seconds, and no points are scored. We will try again with jam number 2. This is going to be Cherry Kiss for the Brutal Beauties.
Dolly Spartan out there for the Scrappers. Dolly Spartan skating in her second bout this evening.
Yeah, if you thought it looked tiring to do 1 bout, try doing 2 in 4 hours. I cut dog nails for like 2 hours once a month, and it kills me. Meanwhile, Cherry Kiss tries to duck around and back up to the high side again. I keep seeing their head popping up there. Now quickly to the front, ducking down around the inside, and Cherry Kiss is lead jammer for the Beauties.
Dolly Spartan pushing her way to the front of the pack.
Dolly was pinned in behind a blocker there. Oh, look out. Goodness me. Cherry Kiss spinning off onto the infield, and I didn't quite catch who that was for the Beauties, but they turned just in time, or Cherry Kiss was going to hit them right up underneath the jaw.
Evil Twin pushing 2 of the Scrappers' blockers into the infield to make way for Cherry Kiss.
So our first points on the board go to the Brutal Beauties. Your standard increment of 4 points on the board. And it looks like, my goodness, once again, we're going to have a power jam extremely early in the bout. Power jam right away. Penalty assessed to the Brutal Beauties jammer there in the previous jam, Cherry Kiss.
Here comes Bon Bon out there. Bonnie Banshee going to skate this power jam for the Scrappers. Fast pack moving through turn 1 into turn 2. Bon Bon going up against Lightning the Queen. Gets by, stays on the track. Gets out as your lead jammer, is the only jammer that can score points in this jam. Bonnie Banshee picking up some speed coming around the second turn.
Big collision there. You know when everybody in the building goes, ooh, that was a big one.
Bonnie Banshee able to get back up out on the track.
Bon Bon was coming on
Stopped
with
by
full head of
Lightning the
steam.
Queen.
Yeah. 21 seconds left on the power jam clock. Bon Bon's
Lightning the Queen and Gypsy Danger out there trying to hold that front line. Bon Bon getting some help from Bob Villain out there, trying to clear the way.
And the clock does expire on the power jam. So that power jam puts the Schoolyard Scrappers on the board with their first 5 points of the contest. And we are off and running. Both teams have started the scoring. I started to say once again, but that's not correct. For the first time, it's Evil Twin. It's ironic. Evil Twin is going to be jamming for the Beauties.
Not a lot of blockers out there on this jam. Both teams picking up 2 penalties on their blockers.
Oh, very sparse pack out there for sure.
Nikki Badass out there to take this jam for the Scrappers and gets out as your lead jammer. Evil Twin.
Evil Twin now trying to fight her way through. There's, again, just 2 blockers, but so far she's going to try to drive Pikachu out of play, but is unsuccessful. Killin May Smalls was able to keep Pikachu in play at the front of the pack. Nikki Badass fought through on a scoring pass. Evil Twin now out of the pack. Try to keep this to a second of 2 scoring passes for Nikki. Meanwhile, the pack was trying to play keep away. Now the Beauties get together, but they're going to, oh, now they're trying to, Nikki calls it off.
Quiver Phoenix battling all the way around the track, trying to keep from getting pinned in the back and make her way back up to the front.
Yeah,
excellent skating.
When you have that minimum blockers, that's the minimum for both sides, and it definitely makes for a lot of fast-paced and quick actions. Now, up to the jammer line, that is Princess Leia.
Is that Juicy Couture out there for the scrappers? Yeah, it is. Juicy and Slaya both pushing their way to the back of the pack. Slaya gets taken off the track there by Bob Villain.
Slaya now tries to take a running start and go around the outside. Ultimately not successful, as she was escorted down to the infield. Again, now Slaya manages to dash by everybody. Kind of had everybody's head turned looking up at Juicy at the top of the track, and Slaya just sneaked on through. Juicy's out as well. She's about 30 yards behind Slaya, give or take the length of the stretch. Slaya now picks up that first point at the back and calls it off. That is 1 point there for the Beauties. Under 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Cherry Kiss now up to the jammer line for the Beauties.
Dolly Spartan back out there on the jammer line for the scrappers.
Saw a tumble there. That was a blocker popping out of the pack for the Beauties. Cherry now up to the outside, and Cherry is going to be your lead jammer for the Beauties. 1/3 of the way through the jam clock. Now Dolly Spartan able to get that last blocker out of play, and Dolly gets clear as well. So Cherry's going to get one crack at this. Cherry tries to jump over a blocker. Nikki Badass sliding down, but Cherry unable to stick the landing. Also unable to come down and bounds, unfortunately. All right, now it looks like we had no points for either side on the board there. However, another penalty has been assessed to a jammer. We've got a penalty on the Schoolyard Scrappers jammer, so it's going to be a power jam for the Brutal Beauties. Before we get to that, there's going to be a timeout. So hang on to that. There will be a timeout coming up for the Brutal Beauties. They have called a team timeout to go over some strategy. It is actually a challenge, says Ziggy Stardust. All right, so we will find out what the challenge is. I see that Eye in the Sky Ref Boy RD is heading down. That's pretty much a giveaway that it might be a points challenge, but I'm not a prognosticator. So we'll wait and find out what the challenge is in just a moment.
Hey, Derby fans, get those raffle tickets. Those raffle tickets are $5 for the 50-50 raffle, 3 tickets for $10. And then the red raffle tickets for the prizes are $1 a ticket or 6 tickets for $5. Get those raffle tickets, though. That 50-50 raffle is up to $220. $220 for the, over $220 for the 50-50 raffle. So get a $10 bill out of your wallet and buy 3 raffle tickets. Derby fans, are you interested in being a part of the roller derby community? Do you not like hitting people? Are black and white not your colors? You can join our regulators. Our regulators are always looking for dedicated and eager minds to learn our rule set and help keep our skaters on the track safe. Our regulator team, as you can see, is an open gender team, and there are various levels of officiating that go on during a roller derby bout, both on and off skates. Come be a part of the action, help our league grow, ask any skater or ref how to get involved.
All right, challenge has broken up there in the back straightaway. I was just going to talk about the minor assaults for a minute, but we'll get to that in the next break of the action. One of our regulators is hustling his way back up here and will give us an update on the challenge.
Challenge is good. 3 points awarded.
All right, successful challenge. Believe that. How often do you see 2 successful points challenges in one night? I mean, even I know it's 2 different bouts, but still. Anyway, the Brutal Beauties just got 3 points awarded to them from that previous jam. So, successful challenge on the part of the Brutal Beauties. They keep their first half challenge, and we'll get back to the action with a slightly closer score than we had before.
I know, right? Almost never. All right, here comes that power jam.
All right, Brutal Beauties now with a 3-point closer boost. Broodies, I already did it. It's the first quarter. I already called them the Broodies. If you had first quarter in the pool, you just won. Brutal Beauties now. Oh, Captain, your captain, Princess Leia, trying to fight to the front and gets bumped off. Excellent defense there. Individual defense by Juicy Kiltour at the back. Leia now gets some help and gets clear. 40 seconds left on the power jam clock.
Just say referee said it was cool. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, Slaya comes through the turn. Bob Villain was off balance, and Slaya just kind of waited to see like which way Bob was going to fall, like a soccer goalie on a penalty kick, and then just went the other way. Now this time the Scrappers are able to get together and build a wall. Trying to slow down. Slaya twist and turns and stayed on the track. Oh, fancy footwork there, dodging a couple of blockers on the end. 2 full scoring passes for Princess Slaya. That's 10 points on the power jam for the Brutal Beauties, and the Brutal Beauties jump back in front. Brutal Beauties are going to send Evil Twin to the jammer line now.
Back to the jammer line. That's Nikki Badass. Scrappers are sitting 2 blockers. Evil Twin able to get by Dolly Spartan, trying to get by Dolly Spartan, pushes her out of play.
Evil Twin is out and is your lead jammer. Now Evil Twin approaching the pack. Nikki's still in the back of the pack. Nikki now kind of redirects Twin up into the guardrail, and then Nikki there again to play jammer defense. Twin now trying to sneak by on the inside, skids to a stop before she gets a cut track penalty. Has to go back, get on behind the blockers. 24 seconds left on the jam clock. And now there goes Twin out the front of the pack. Nikki's still pinned at the back. Trivia fact, Evil Twin's sister Good Twin plays for the Kind Beauties. That's not real trivia. Evil Twin now approaching the pack. Killing May Smalls just shoved Dolly into her path and knocked her off onto the infield. Again, use whatever objects you can in roller derby, whether that object is another person or not. That's one way to get your defender to do something, is just throw them in the path of another skater. Anyhow, so that's a 9-point jam when it's all said and done, and the Beauties have jumped out in front here. Florence Puke to the jammer line for the Beauties now.
There's Sandra Slay O'Connor out there for the Scrappers. One blocker down for the Scrappers right here. Florence Puke pushing way up to the front of the pack up against Bob Villain and Juicy Kiltour. Lightning the Queen out there trying to break it up, knocks Bob Villain off the track, and Florence Puke gets out.
That's Flo, number 69, dodging around Juicy, number 68. Sandy down along the inside gets out as well. Now here comes Flo. She's going to get one crack at this. Down along the inside, she eats 100% of a forearm from Pretty Hurt Machine and takes it to the track and gets back up to call it off. Pretty Hurt Machine put a stop to her momentum. Another 3 points on the board for the Beauties, and that's going to be Cherry Kiss way back here at Hollywood distance from the jammer line.
Dolly Spartan decides to line up right next to her and get a running start on this pack.
And Cherry Kiss able to get by. She gave the old okey doke to a couple of blockers out there and really barely got touched, getting clear of the pack. Dolly and still pinned into the back of the pack. Cherry stays upright. Wowzers. Cherry keeps her momentum and keeps moving. Dolly Spartan now out of the pack as well to try to put a stop to the scoring here. So right there, in case you were watching that on the live stream and not here live, Cherry Kiss just soared through the air and crashed on her chest and stomach trying to call the jam off, while Dolly Spartan was also cartwheeling through the back of the pack. When it was all said and done, both skaters got points. Dolly never gave up on the jam and picked up 2 points at the back end. So 7 for Cherry Kiss, 2 for Dolly Spartan, and it's almost time for the next jam. Okay, I rushed to finish all that, but now it looks like we might have an official timeout. We do! Oh man, I didn't have to talk so fast. Ziggy Stardust heading up onto the track to allow us to know that indeed it is an official timeout. So we'll step aside from the action momentarily. 3:31 to go until the end of the first quarter. Brutal Beauties have hopped out to an early lead. Derby fans, our next bout on January 28th is going to feature the Bombshells versus the Bombshells versus the Coffin Draggers. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting that. At any rate, also there's going to be a Minor Assaults mashup. Our Minor Assaults, of course, minors skating for bank track roller derby in the country, is also getting back on its feet and is open to skaters between the ages of 10 and 17. If you know somebody that loves to skate and would love to join, they're always looking for new skaters all the time, year round. Our coaches, which are longtime skaters with the league, not only teach technique and knowledge of the sport, but they also help build leadership, teamwork, and problem-solving skills that'll help in life situations far beyond roller derby. Many of our adult teams here, of our 6 home teams, the banners you see across that back wall, all of our teams have multiple graduates of our Minor Assaults program on them over the past several years. So it's a fun program, and also they're really good. Really good. They let's see, they won the national title in 2018, and then the last time they had a title was 2019, and they finished second that time. So yeah. So anyway, your national champion emeritus Minor Assaults will be out to do their thing, and that's always a lot of fun watching them get to skate against each other. That'll be again right here, January 28th, 3 weeks from tonight. It'll be the second half of our doubleheader that evening. Looks like the challenge, not a challenge. This is an official timeout, and that still continues there in the front straightaway.
Roller derby fans, if you can't make it to that next bout, you can't watch any of the bout in person, it's not a problem. We've got a live stream for you to watch from home. Visit our Twitch channel or our Facebook page to learn more. And shout out to all of our fans watching on the live stream. Thank you for supporting our league from home. Special thanks to Amelia Derhart out there watching this particular bout. Amelia Derhart is watching Beverly Kills skate this evening.
Number 37, Amelia Derhart. I got a cheer from all the ex-minor assaults in the crowd. Amelia can't hear this, but like 15 people just said we miss you.
Yes.
It's very cute. All right, we are back to the action. Again, 37-15, Beauties in front, but the Scrappers needed a chance to score some points, and they've got it because it's a Schoolyard Scrappers Power Jam. After all, that was sorted out by the regulators. A cheer goes up from the blue-clad fans in the house, and it's Pretty Hurt Machine trying to get clear and does.
Pretty Hurt Machine's got some speed on her, and she can score a lot of points in a short period of time. With that pack stalled out in turn 2.
What you're seeing here is the Scrappers are keeping one defender pinned in behind, at least one defender pinned in behind, and that allows them to control the pace of play and keeps the pack from moving around the track to try and stay away from Pretty Hurt Machine.
Still 30 seconds left on this jam. Hurt able to get the other blockers out of play.
So the pack is mostly stationary, and now you'll see some action while they try to open some lanes for Hurt. That was Bon Bon trying to clear a path. Hurt now getting some help. Looks like a couple of skaters. I see Nikki in there. 8 seconds to go on the clock. Hurt tries to run through, gets out and clear on the other side of it. And the time is going to expire on the jam. All right, once the scoring is reported, it's a 10-point power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers. So the Scrappers nearly halve that lead. Halve? H-A-L-V-E, it's a word. How do you have? I don't know, I'm not an English major. At the jammer line now for the Brutal Beauties is Stevie Thunder. No wonder, Stevie Thunder jamming for the first time for the Beauties.
Stevie Thunder out there skating against Dolly Spartan for the Scrappers. Dolly Spartan pushes the way past Quiver Phoenix and is your lead jammer. Dolly Spartan looking to make up a couple of points right here. Stevie Thunder getting to the front of the pack, going up against Nikki Badass. That didn't work out so well. Dolly Spartan gets through the pack and going to start a second scoring pass in a second. As Stevie Thunder gets out.
Dolly now weaving through the pack and is getting directed off to the infield, and Dolly calls it off at the last second before going out of bounds. So Dolly tries to put some positive points on the board for the Scrappers. Let's check it out. 8 points for the Scrappers. He's going to cut that lead down to 4 points for the Beauties.
I see Bonnie Banshee out there for the Scrappers.
It's going to be Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties. And Gypsy gets dumped to the infield, gets dumped to the track, and Gravity does the rest, as it tends to do on the bank track. The Gypsy now up to the front of a 3-wall of Scrappers defenders.
Princess Leia keeps on knocking Gypsy Danger to the infield.
Bon Bon tries to get clear, but ends up getting redirected off onto the infield by Slaya. Here goes Gypsy. Gypsy gets a heck of a block. No surprise, Bob Villain delivering a decleater there, coming into the front straightaway. Now here goes Gypsy again, and this time Gypsy gets the best of it. So they're even. Gypsy dodging a sliding block there to finish off the scoring pass and calls it off. It's always fun to watch our defensive specialists work. So the Beauties put 4 points on the board, and they are going to get a Brutal Beauties power jam. Cherry kiss to the jammer line for the Beauties. Looks like the Scrappers have all 4 blockers, but no jammer. Cherry kiss down to the inside and races by a sliding block from Nikki Badass. Cherry Kiss fleet of foot. Cherry Kiss may have spent more time on skates in her life than off, I believe. Up to the outside now, ducks to the inside, gets bumped hard, but gets right back up on it. Now gets slammed into by somebody, but absorbs the block and discards the blocker. Gets back up and has to reestablish behind everybody again and fight through it one more time after being nearly clear. Blockers pinballing back and forth.
Cherry's teammates doing a heck of a job creating opportunities and bouncing players out of the way. Scrappers keep recycling back out front, but Beauties keep on bumping them around and breaking up those walls.
Cherry races by, sticks her hips in front of that last skater, which is all you got to do. Was wildly off balance, but managed to get her hips in front of Dolly Spartan and pick up that 10th point. So it's a 10-point power jam. Cherry Kiss with some fancy fleet footwork to put 10 more points on the board for the Brutal Beauties, and the there we go again. The Brutal Beauties are going to go into the quarter break with an 18-point lead at the moment after a 10-point power jam by Cherry Kiss. Hey, here comes another merch toss. Hey, Nips Cage says they can't hear you. If you want a Derby Dames t-shirt, you're going to have to speak up. Here it comes. Wing, wing, zing. There we go. What's fun is when the merchandise toss goes up and hits the rafters like it's Tropicana Field and the Devil Rays, and then it just sort of falls on the infield, and everybody's like, I don't want a shirt. Anyway, we are putting a pause. It is not quarter break yet. That's all that happened while the merchandise toss was happening. We all got distracted by a pretty rolled-up T-shirt and didn't even notice that apparently the first quarter has not ended. There has been a challenge. The challenge was thrown by the Schoolyard Scrappers. So we will wait and find out the results of this challenge, and then we will start the quarter break. So, it's just an illusion. The first quarter didn't end. However, all that's left is a challenge. So, at any rate, we will get to quarter break here momentarily. All right, Derby fans, we have the results of the challenge. We'll get to that in a second. We wanted to get to you the winning raffle ticket here before we actually get to quarter break, which will take place momentarily. Your winning raffle prize for this quarter break is 411-411. 411-411. If that's you, raise your hand, hoot, holler, head down to the merchandise table, which is over there under the camera well. I don't hear anybody hooting and hollering, but we'll try to redraw again momentarily if nobody claims that prize. 411-411. 41-14-11. Simple. All right, status update, Derby fans. The challenge is over. Quarter break has started. Now you are free to enjoy your quarter break, which will be over in about 4.5 minutes. We'll be back to action momentarily.
All right, raffle fans, get those red raffle tickets out. I got two of them, two winners right here. Number 411401 and 411413. I want to see a winner. Look at your raffle tickets. Numbers 411401 and 413. I see Bonnie Banshee on the jammer line for the Scrappers.
We've got Gypsy Danger for the Beauties and Gypsy Danger. And as long as it took me to introduce her, dashes to the front of the pack and is clear.
Beauties have been really successful this evening at getting their jammers out of the box fast and getting lead jam.
Here I come for first scoring pass.
Now there's Gypsy Danger at the back of the pack, and then a little bit of jammer defense by Bonnie Banshee and dumps Gypsy down to the infield. Bon Bon's still trying to play defense in there, but then Bon Bon springs loose and gets out of the pack. So Bon Bon's now going to try to put the pressure on. Bonnie Banshee now heading down the front straightaway. Gypsy Danger just keeps keeping pace with those blockers for the Schoolyard Scrappers and eventually gets them out of play. 4 points up on the board for the Brutal Beauties. It looks like we are going to have Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties.
Dolly Spartan back out there for the Scrappers.
Evil Twin wears number 925. I don't know if that's what it's for, but that's, you know, in my head canon. Twin to the infield. Dolly now looking for purchase. Twin tries to use the outside to her advantage. Dolly gets out first, though. Dolly gets a much-needed lead jam for the Scrappers here. We're going to try to cut into that Beauty's lead. Evil Twin gets bumped off to the infield, but the blocker was unable to stay up, so Twin gets the wave on. Collision at the back of the pack. Now Dolly's going to spring loose, and Dolly's got that jammer point in her sights. Oh, big collision. Look out. That's one way to get a point, is to play leapfrog and just go directly over the top of the person you're trying to get a point from. Dolly Spartan now is approaching the pack, runs up into a whole wall of blockers, going to try to thread her way down to the inside, but gets bumped off to the infield. Gets back up and calls it off. So that was almost a really bad collision, but I think we avoided the worst of it. Looks like everybody's back up on their skates. However, in the hubbub, it does appear that Evil Twin picked up a penalty. So Evil Twin heads to the penalty box. The Schoolyard Scrappers put 7 points on the board in that last jam, and now they're down 15, and they've got a power jam on their plate.
Sandra Slay O'Connor coming in here to judge this power jam.
Sandra Slay O'Connor on the bench by herself and says there will not be a jury trial. Shuffled down to the inside and now bumped again. Gets back up on the track and is trying to find her way, weaving in and out. Gets some help from a blocker, but the defense is able to get back in front of her.
Juicy Kiltour getting up there, charging those blockers, trying to make something happen, make a hole. Still 30 seconds left on this jam. Sandy up at the front of the pack, behind All of You Die, and Novocaine. No, Lightning the Queen.
There again, excellent defense there and forcing Sandy off. And then once you get off on the infield, you got to get back on behind the blocker that forced you off. And that was a great way to eat more time off the clock, which, as we pointed out a couple times tonight, is most of your strategy on defense, is to try to chew up that clock. You only get 60 seconds, and that is going to do it for the power jam. A stalwart defensive effort by the Brutal Beauties.
I got that, man.
It's Pikachu out there for the Scrappers.
Cherry Kiss is going to be lining up for the Brutal Beauties. Score unchanged after that jam. Beauties in front by 15 at the moment. Nice round numbers on the board. Almost ready to go. Everybody's
Scrappers
checking in.
skating down one blocker. Pretty Hurt Machine picking up a penalty on that last jam.
Cherry
Both
Kiss.
of these jammers, Pikachu and Cherry Kiss, were minor assaults at one point in time.
There goes Pikachu shaking loose out the front of the pack. Your Scrappers captain, Cherry Kiss, manages to outrun Dolly Spartan to the end of the pack. So Cherry's going to put the pressure on to keep this to one pass for Peak. He tries to get past a couple of skaters at the end. That's going to be a call from the infield. 2 points for the Scrappers. Just about 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter, and I hear, as coaches and people, everybody's running up and down. It looks like when it's all said and done, it's going to be a power jam. It's going to be a power jam for the Brutal Beauties. Princess Leia is up on the jammer line. Do we have any Brutal Beauties fans in the house? There we go. A small clutch of vocal supporters. Leia now down to the inside. And able to outrun a block there and get past. That was Bob Villan coming down with the block, but Leia gets by. 1/4 way through the power jam clock. Leia now approaching her first scoring pass. Finishes off that scoring pass. Now 30 seconds left. Scrappers now able to get together at the front. They're going to try to stay together and see if they can keep the pace of play moving. 15 seconds left on the power jam clock. Leia gets bumped around. We will check on that last bit of scoring there. Leia tried to duck by Bob Villan and took one heck of a block, as Bob Villan is wont to do. Ends up being that Princess Leia got all 5 points both times. It's a 10-point power jam for the Brutal Beauties.
Nikki Badass taking the jammer line for the Scrappers here.
And that's going to be Evil Twin once again for the Brutal Beauties.
Nikki Badass pushing her way to the front of the pack. Pushing those other skaters out of the way.
Now working their way out of the front of the pack, there goes the Evil Twin. 30 seconds gone, 30 seconds to go in the jam. Bunch of skaters slide off to the infield. Nikki goes into the spot they vacated, but ends up twisting off to the infield, and Nikki has to get back up. Manages to squeeze back on the track next to Novocaine and call that off before giving up any points to Evil Twin. Nikki gets 3 points up on the board. Currently 20-point lead for the Beauties. They've maintained this lead here throughout the second quarter so far as we hit the halfway point of the quarter. Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties.
Bonnie Banshee back out there for the Scrappers.
It's interesting as we see a lot of teams with sub-skaters. A lot of teams have black as their base jersey color, and so the Beauties are out there with a couple of greens and a couple of grays from the Valkyries and Coffin Draggers subbing in with them. So it's interesting. It's like watching the MLB All-Star game. A little pop of green and yellow once in a while.
Different hats.
Now, meanwhile, as we were sitting up here reminiscing about baseball jerseys, Gypsy Danger does get through the pack and takes off in his lead jammer again for the Beauties. Bonnie Banshee now looking for an opening. Got a big old spread open pack there. Kind of an incidental block by Bob Villan, kind of opened the path there.
Bob Villan really opened that door for Bon Bon to get out.
And Gypsy gets spun up high and pinned into the rail and calls it off.
Dolly Spartan coming to the jammer line once again for the Scrappers.
Cherry Kiss is behind the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties. A little. And there was one heck of a block by Nikki Badass. That one took a second for Cherry Kiss to kind of get up and think about that. Nikki really delivered her hard into the rail, which is not very forgiving. It's a rail. Meanwhile, there goes Dolly Spartan, half a track ahead and lead jammer. Cherry did get out eventually. Dolly bumped off to the infield. Colette Razorcat doing the defense. Dolly has to call it off. All right, after that jam, we're waiting for the score to come up. It's going to be a stoppage in play. We've got Team timeout. Team timeout, Brutal Beauties. So the Beauties are going to take a second to talk this one over and catch their breaths. Your score right now after they pick up 3 points in that jam, 68-45, Brutal Beauties in front.
Power jam. Dolly picked up arms, I think. All right, raffle fans, that 50-50 raffle is up to $275.
All right, back to the action we go. After that discussion, Brutal Beauties were talking about the power jam they were about to get. Gypsy Danger to the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties. An even 5:30 to go till halftime, and Gypsy Danger out there to try to put some more points on the board for the team in black and pink. Black and other colors, as we were just discussing.
I see Nikki Hurt and Bob Villain out there trying to hold off this power jam, trying to wall up in front of Gypsy Danger. Gypsy Danger gets knocked to the infield just there. Scrappers Recycling trying to wall up again. A number of these minor assaults we keep talking about, NC, All of You Die, and Lightning holding the line, keeping their jammer out there.
"15 seconds left here on the power jam clock. Schoolyard Scrappers still equal to the task, and then Gypsy finishes off the scoring pass, but Scrappers succeeded in burning more time off the clock, and that was the goal there. So just those 5 points on the power jam. Brutal Beauties trying to keep extending that lead here as we head into halftime. Looks like we've got, well, I'll tell you in a second. Is that Stevie again? Yep, cool, thanks. Number 555, Stevie Thunder.
172, Pikachu.
I have terrible eyesight. I really do. I should not be an announcer. I talk good but can't see nothing. There we go. So Stevie to the inside, but takes a block there off the field from Nikki. Now Stevie advances to the front of the pack. Everybody kind of switching places now, and now, well, everybody's kind of bunched up back there. Stevie up to the front of the pack. Now gets some help. Excuse me, that's Smalls that gets some help at the front of the pack against Stevie. And, oh, almost got clear, and Smalls said, have a block. But Smalls out of play. Stevie Thunder. Stevie is your lead jammer for the Brutal Beauties with 15 seconds left on the jam clock. So Stevie's going to come around and take a crack at this scoring pass. At the back of the pack, that's Peak. Peak's going to try to play a little bit of defense here as the pack tries to move away. Stevie, in, out. And the whistle brings the jam to a close, so we will check on the score from the infield. That is 3 points for Stevie Thunder. Fantastic. Can somebody verify if that's Stevie's first points? Is that Stevie's first points, or has Stevie scored points before? Nobody knows. Well, we'll check on that after the game, but good on Stevie, who was one of our newer skaters and did a fantastic job in a couple of jams so far tonight.
Scrapper sending in Bonnie Banshee back out there to jam this jam.
Meanwhile, there's Flo at the front of the pack, and Flo is going to shake on through and be lead jammer here for the Beauties. Flo took down a heck of a block. I believe that was Bob again. But Flo back up and skate and able to get around. Manages to outrun her to the rail. Kind of spun around the rail and finished off a scoring pass. Bonnie Banshee is going to set up at the back of the pack here and try to assist with defense. Flo tried to run into Bob, and that does not often end well when you try to run into Bob. And Bob says, just in case you didn't get the message the first time, I'm going to send it again. Let me know if you get this one, says Bob. Excellent individual defensive effort at the front of the pack. But we do have 8 points on the board for Flo and the Beauties. Another profitable offensive jam for the Beauties here as we head into halftime, about 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. It's going to be Cherry Kiss again for the Brutal Beauties.
Mickey Badass out there looking to close this gap a little bit before halftime. Get back to the bench and regroup.
Cherry gets bumped off to the infield by Dolly, and then Dolly had to, I don't know how these people do this with wheels on their feet. Dolly delivers a crushing block to Cherry Kiss and then somehow managed to stop her momentum so she didn't slide off the track too. Sometimes I just sit up here and fanboy. I can't help it. Both
Mickey Badass and Cherry Kiss both getting out of the pack at the same time. Cherry Kiss not going to surrender though, going to try to pick up some points.
And there is a big collision at the back of the pack, and I kid you not, all 5 Schoolyard scrappers wound up in a line sitting on the ground. So that was quite a collision. Yeah, roller derby action is crazy. It really can be sometimes. We've got 16 minutes to halftime. No points for either side there, as it turns out.
Juicy Kill Tour coming to the jammer line for the scrappers.
It's going to be Princess Sleia for the Brutal Beauties. Our last jam before halftime. Juicy knocks Sleia to the infield.
Nice move.
Sleia was riding along on the inside of one of the blockers for the scrappers. Now a lot of action trying to spring loose. And racing around the outside. Juicy gets around, lightning the queen threw a hip into her. Oh, big collision, look out. Look out, skater sliding down in the middle of the pack.
And as all that happens, Princess Sleia gets out as the lead jammer. We're looking at the back of the pack, and there goes Sleia.
So Sleia now with 18 seconds left on the jam clock is going to run up into the pack. Juicy tried to sneak by on the inside, but gets knocked off balance. 8 seconds left on the jam clock at this point. Sleia's trying to make sure she gets all 5 of the points on this scoring pass, and that'll do it for the clock. So it's 4 points on the board for the Brutal Beauties, and that is going to take us up to the halftime break, as has been officially noted by Ziggy Stardust. So the teams will change benches. We will step aside for a 15-minute halftime break.
I think both teams are ready to take a little bit of a breather and let this physical bout go by for a second or two.
Yeah, there's been a whole lot of tooth-rattling blocks so far in this bout specifically. Very hard defense being played by both sides.
Hey, I got some good news about that 50-50 raffle. We're up to $300 already. $300 in that 50-50 raffle as we do another merch giveaway. All right, raffle fans, let's get those red raffle tickets out. We're going to try number 411437 for a prize. 411437. Red raffle ticket. 411437. I don't see anybody standing up cheering. Are you a winner? Don't get my hopes up.
Hey, there's a winner.
You got a winner? Here we go. Yeah, nice. And here's this one back. And then I got the 411437. Yes. Oh, nice. Okay. Still time to buy some of those red raffle tickets. The next one we're giving out is the tattoo gift certificate to Lost Dutchman. And then the 50-50 raffle is up to $300. Go get yourself a 50-50 raffle ticket. The price is up to $300. Split that 50-50. right, Derby fans, welcome to the second half of Derby action.
Derby fans, I believe Bill said, welcome back to hard-hitting Derby action. Hey, there you go. All right, we are back. We are back for the beginning of the third quarter. Excuse me, Cherry Kiss is out there for the Brutal Beauties.
Dolly Spartan taking the line for the Scrappers. Dolly charging up to the front of the pack, gets out as your lead jammer. Dolly made that last push past Novocaine and Evil Twin. Cherry Kiss hung up in the back there behind Beverly Kills and Killin' May Smalls.
Dolly finishes off that scoring pass and calls it off after finishing off the scoring pass. So 4 points on the board for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
Hey, look who I see out there. I see Bob Villain taking the jammer line for the first time tonight. Bob Villain brought her fan club.
Your jammer for the Brutal Beauties is Gypsy Danger. Bob is up at the front of the pack now, kind of working up and down that defense like a washboard. Finally finds an opening, and there goes Bob darting to the front of the pack. Lead jammer again for the Scrappers, which is what they're going to need to do to chop into that lead. Gypsy Danger now finishes off getting out of the pack. Bob Villain into the pack. Skaters tumbling out of the way. Bob gets pinned up to the rail, is trying to fight through and get those hips in front of a couple of defenders for the Brutal Beauties. Checking on the score now from the infield. 2 points on the board for Bob Villain, but on the unpositive side, it's a penalty on the board for Bob Villain as well. All right, so it is going to be a power jam now for the Brutal Beauties. Brutal Beauties, of course, starting off this half very well in front. And Gypsy Danger is out there for the Beauties. Gypsy Danger now out of the pack. Some collisions there as there were some skaters at the front of the pack, and she was trying to get around them. So 30 seconds left in the power jam here for the Beauties. Scrappers are all together at the front of the pack. And Gypsy weaves around those skaters and just gets them pushed far enough to get them out of play. Oh, Evil Twin, sorry. That's Evil Twin. And there we go with the end of the jam. I missed the pigtails. I just saw the short blonde hair is what it was. Anyway, sorry, that was Evil Twin out there for the Brutal Beauties that I was misnomering the entire jam. Evil Twin puts 5 points on the board for the Beauties as they work on padding that lead with under 12 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Pretty hurt machine out there for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
And it's going to be Princess Sleia for the Brutal Beauties.
Sleia knocked to the infield for a second, but gets back out on the track. And gets right out as your lead jammer. Hurt stuck in the back of the pack, doesn't get out until now. Sleia setting up a scoring pass.
Sleia trying to find an opening and trying to get by as many of those skaters as possible. And eventually calls it off. Hurt believes she got 1 point, or at least 1 point. Hurt picks up 2 points on the back end of the pack, which, as we've said again, which is why you never give up on the jam. You never know when you might catch a lead jammer not calling it off in time. So points for both sides. Cherry Kiss is up to the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties.
Nikki Badass out there with the jammer star on her helmet. Beauties skating down one blocker. Nikki Badass gets knocked to the track, but gets out as your lead jammer. Cherry Kiss back in the back of the pack. Behind Smalls, Dolly Spartan, and Tequilia.
There goes Nikki sliding along by the inside, going through the corner. Nikki now coming up on the pack here. Up to the outside, gets by the first, now has to kind of deal with that defensive wall almost herself. Now gets some help from her pivot, taking out a blocker. Nikki now pinned in behind Colette Razorcat.
Pikachu up there trying to help out. Pikachu trying to get Nikki out.
Nikki finishes off the scoring pass. They've got Cherry Kiss. They've had her pinned in at the back of the pack and are still not letting her get clear. And are using her to kind of control the pace of play. Nikki tries to race by Cherry Kiss there and pick up one more point at the end of that. We're checking on the score from the infield now.
Sandra Slay O'Connor coming to the jammer line for the Scrappers.
Your jammer for the Brutal Beauties for the first time this evening is All of You Die. It ended up being a 12-point jam there for the Schoolyard Scrappers, by the way, so they're able to chip into that Beauties lead just a bit.
Sandra Slay O'Connor tries that low side, gets hung up behind Lightning. Able to get out on the low side, though. Dances along the coping.
Sandy now coming around. Olive able to get those two blockers pushed out of play, so Olive shakes free as well. Sandy now is going to get one crack at a scoring pass, gets by those first two blockers. Runs up into Lightning, tries to get her hips in front of Lightning as best she can. We will wait and check the score.
That's that one-handed call off.
Does not get the elusive last point, they said. So Lightning able to hold her down and keep that point off the board. 8:25 to go in the third quarter. You are going to have Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties.
Evil Twin going up against Dolly Spartan on this jam.
After this timeout. Let's check on the nature of the timeout.
This momentary interruption brought to you by an unofficial timeout.
All right, so regulators are going to talk this one over. There's some penalties being shouted out from the infield as well.
Hey, Skatewell is a social support community for skaters and refs to help raise mental health awareness and provide resources for those in need. Our mission is to assist others to be well on wheels. Come visit them in Vendor Row next to our merch booth. Skatewell.
Derby fans, don't forget, once the final whistle blows at the end of this bout, the party does not stop, and in fact, will not stop. You cannot stop it. It will continue at the after party. If you are pumped up and don't want the night to end, join us at the after party at the Thunderbird Lounge. It is right real close to Copper Star Coffee on 7th Avenue north of Indian School. Thunderbird Lounge, there's drinks, food, and fun, so make sure to stop by. And the official timeout has evolved. Official timeout has become challenge. So now we have a team challenge. That was requested by the Schoolyard Scrappers, so the Scrappers have thrown the challenge flag. We will have to check on the nature of the challenge momentarily. But again, I see our eye in the sky down there, so this may be another points challenge. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, coming around while we have this brief clerical stoppage in play, we have raffle tickets coming your way. The cash raffle is up to $350, which is $175 to you and $175 to support the minor assault. So that is a worthy pursuit. You may have heard this already, but cash raffle tickets are 1 for $5 or 3 for $10. And of course, you can still get prize raffle tickets. We've got the big prize left on the board still, as always. Our fantastic tattoo gift certificate to Lost Dutchman Tattoo. Those raffle tickets for prizes are 1 for $5 or 1 for 1, excuse me, 1 for 1 or 6 for $5. Just tried to kill so much time and the challenge just started. Unofficial challenge progresses on the back straightaway there. Several people wearing stripes or not stripes. Still discussing there in the back straightaway. Don't forget our next bout is coming up 3 weeks from tonight, January 28th. It's going to be the Coffin Draggers versus the Bombshells. Bombshells you saw earlier this evening. Versus the Coffin Draggers, who feature All of You Die, who's currently skating for the Brutal Beauties. So that'll be fun, followed up by, of course, a minor assaults mashup bout, just like we had a couple of weeks ago, just before the Christmas holiday. That's a lot to look forward to, and once again, as always, it'll be right here at 6 p.m. 3 weeks from tonight, the 28th. Challenge is over. We will get an update from Ref Boyardee. All right, so after that update, it is a successful challenge by the Schoolyard Scrappers. Scrappers get their second half challenge back. Challenge was on Sandra Slay O'Connor, who had been given an illegal procedure penalty related to the call-off at the end of the jam, it appeared. And they have decided that the regulators were in error, so the penalty has been rescinded, and the Brutal Beauties do not get a power jam. So now we just wait for all the regulators to get back to their regulatory spots. So without that potential jammer penalty, it is otherwise a full pack out there now. Scrappers definitely want to keep the Brutal Beauties from having as many scoring opportunities as possible. Evil Twin is going to suit up at the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties.
That's Dolly Spartan out there to take the line for the Scrappers. Dolly Spartan skates up slow, tries the low. Knocked off the track there, along with Pikachu. Evil Twin pushing to the front of the pack, right there stuck behind Nikki Badass. Beverly Kills.
And Twin is able to get those blockers pushed far enough out of play with assistance from her blockers at the back of the pack, basically stretching the pack until it snapped, and Twin got the wave around. So Evil Twin, your lead jammer here for the Beauties, catching up to the pack rapidly, and a collision there. Sliding skater takes out Twin kind of incidentally. Out the front of the pack goes Dolly. Ten seconds left on the jam clock here. Twin is going to signal to call it off with Dolly Spartan coming in with a full head of steam.
It's going to be a power jam. When Kills knocked Twin off, Twin cut the track. I see Bob Villain back out there on the jammer line for the Scrappers.
Well, we just had sequential penalties announced on both jammers. So both jammers were assessed with penalties, so neither team gets a power jam. This is going to lead to an official timeout, unsurprisingly.
That's not right. Okay. Okay.
We're waiting for a second here. It is an official timeout, so they're going to talk that one over, obviously. You heard penalties shouted out nearly simultaneously on both jammers in the previous jam, so we're going to review here and see if it is, in fact, the double jammer down situation, which essentially means that I believe blockers serve the penalty. No?
They sit their own penalty, and
Okay,
both
they sit their
jammers
own,
go up.
but
Yeah,
those jammers are up on
they
the side.
sit
Okay,
above,
sorry, yeah.
Oh, you got to sit.
Yeah, I'm not a rules expert, sorry. Also, I can't see far enough to see who has a jammer star on their helmet. So, regulators are going to sort this out and make sure that the penalties are being assessed correctly, make sure that neither team gets a power jam. Could be pretty sequential at this point if a team's able to pick up a power jam, either one. Beauties, see, I got all the way through the second quarter without saying Beauties. That's too bad. The Brutal Beauties, who have recently topped over 100 points, could do some damage with a power jam, and the Schoolyard Scrappers want to stay in this thing. Okay, after discussion, penalties have been assessed. We have 2 blockers for the Brutal Beauties in the penalty box and 1 blocker in the penalty box for the Scrappers. Plus, well, we have both jammers out there. That's the only important part. The rest of it's clerical. And
Bob,
it is.
Bob Villan out there for the Scrappers.
And still Gypsy Danger for the Beauties. Spread out pack. Gypsy Danger says, I'm going to go ahead and take this lead jammer. So Gypsy through. Bob is pinned up to the rail. Looks like Bob's going to try to play some defense. Now Bob quickly around the outside and takes advantage of the only blocker being out of play on the infield. So Gypsy finishes off the scoring pass and calls it off. Five points for the Brutal Beauties.
Nikki Badass out there for the Scrappers.
And jamming for the Brutal Beauties is Stevie Thunder.
Beauty's down a blocker on that last play. Princess Leia picked up an arms penalty. Nikki Badass charging to the front of the pack. It gets knocked off the track by Cherry Kiss. Stevie Thunder gets out as a lead jammer, though, making way around the track. Nikki Badass catching up. Stevie Thunder goes ahead and calls it off.
So Nikki forcing the call off there with some hard skating. And both Nikki and Sandy giving a oi oi to Stevie on Stevie's way back to the bench on good skating there. So no points for either side, though. 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Your jammer for the Brutal Beauties is your captain, Princess Leia.
Sandra Slay O'Connor back out there for the Scrappers.
Lots of slaying in this jam.
Lots of slaying. It's like an episode of Buffy.
All right, jam is underway. A lot of action right off the bat. A bunch of blockers try to knock each other out. Pack quickly moves down into the corner. Slaya's up closer to the front of the pack. Now everybody gets collided. Slaya tries to find an opening. And manages to zigzag around a blocker. Slaya got the best of that one. Bob Villan was trying to get in the way, and Slaya got right through. So now Sandy up to the front of the pack trying to find an opening. Here comes Slaya, and Slaya's just gonna try to blend into the defense. Oh, somebody found her. That was Bob. Slaya bumped off onto the infield, but gets back up and proceeds on with the scoring pass. So there's 15 seconds left on the jam clock. Sandy now at the back of the pack, trying to play some defense. Now Sandy looking for an opening. Slaya clinging to the inside. Slaya just hung onto that coping going through the corner and was able to get through and finish off that scoring pass. We got 10 points on the board for the Brutal Beauties. However, we did have a penalty assessed to Princess Leia in the previous jam. Princess Leia is, well, let's see. It's going to be a timeout first, it looks like. Right now, it appears like it's going to be a power jam for your Captain Pikachu and the Schoolyard Scrappers, but we'll get back to that in a moment. So hang on to that peak. Hang on to it. It's going to be a challenge by the Brutal Beauties. So we will find out if Pikachu gets to have a power jam or not. So 3:26 to go here in the third quarter. Official challenge will take place in the back straightaway, as you have seen a couple of times this evening. Another one of our official challenges this evening, and I'd love to take a second. And I'd like to have the fans, let's give a cheer for the regulators who are always here trying to keep order.
Woohoo!
Doing their level best to keep order on the track while a bunch of unruly people with hard wheels on their feet run around them. They keep order and they keep everything from descending into chaos. And they're out there. Yeah, see, they do. And they're out there right now talking about this.
Respect my authority.
You know, if keeping order is your thing and you wanted to, keep order on the track, our regulators are always looking for people to join their team. It is an open gender team, and you can help keep our skaters on the track safe at every bout. There are various levels of officiating that go on during roller derby bouts, as you can see, featuring both skating and non-skating roles. So, like me, if you don't want to put wheels on your feet and get injured, you can also still help out the league while not having wheels on your feet. Ask any regulator how to get involved. They're the ones in stripes. And you can talk to them here after the bout, or at the after party. There will be some of them there as well. All right, after review, the Brutal Beauties challenge is unsuccessful. The penalty shall stand. It's a cut track penalty on the jammer, which is going to lead, as we said, to a power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
I made some money. I made good money. I did. We sold a couple $100 worth. Yeah, it was good.
All right, that whistle draws us back to the track. Schoolyard Scrappers are down one blocker. Bob Villan, defensive stalwart, is in the box right now, so they would love to have Bob out there for a power jam. But we will see what develops here. Pikachu, number 172, approaches the quickly moving pack and is trying to take advantage of this chaos and weaves her way through and manages to get by, but gets knocked down, slides, and the whole pack goes by. Just like that. Peak was about an inch from being clear. Big collision at the back of the pack. Another blocker down, and those blockers are out of play, and Peak finally gets through.
Burned a lot of time off the clock, though.
And that was about as a shoestring block as you could possibly have. 20 seconds left on the Scrappers Power Jam, and Peak collides with the blocker, and they both tumble off the track once again. Ten seconds left here on the jam clock. Brutal Beauties are going to line up and block Peak off to the infield one more time, and that's going to effectively run out the clock on the jam. All right, so we're checking on the score from the infield. 5 points there, 5 points on the power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers. 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Looks like we've got both jammers still up there, so we'll proceed with the full power jam. Full power, no, I mean, you know what I mean, sorry. Gypsy Danger is out there for the Brutal Beauties. Looks like Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Gypsy gets dumped to the infield. There's Bob Villan out there doing defense like Bob do. Both jammers kind of evaluating their options. Lightning the Queen tries to clear. Lightning ran into Bob, and they kind of just both bounced off each other, but it distracted Bob long enough to let the jammer on by. Gypsy Danger clears for the Beauties, and it will be approaching Gypsy's first scoring pass. Sandy pinned at the back of the pack. Now tries to follow Gypsy through. And Sandy escorted off the track by Aunt Tifa at the back of the pack. Gypsy Danger now Gypsy weaves to the inside and able to outrun that last blocker, trying to slide in and get a block on her. And Gypsy finishes off a second scoring pass.
I hadn't seen the videos of it. Amelia showed me a video of Coronado Beach.
A lot of penalties being shouted out from the infield, various blockers being called down. Looks like we've got Stevie Thunder again for the Brutal Beauties. Indeed, indeed. And it will be Dolly Spartan for the Schoolyard Scrappers. A couple more adjustments to the pack. Blocker swapping out for a blocker.
Beauty's having to sit 2 blockers on this jam.
All right, we are going to move into an official timeout. There's usually kind of a little clock that goes off when you're like, yeah, we need to get an OTO here. So regulators are going to talk this one over before we start the next jam. Brief stoppage and play once again. 26 seconds left to our last quarter break of the night. 126.73, Beauties in front right now.
Hey, that's Dolly Spartan out there going to skate this power jam. Now that we got everything sorted out.
Yeah, indeed, ended up being a penalty there in the previous jam on the Beauties jammer once it was all talked through. So just Dolly Spartan for the Scrappers, now trying to weave through and able to get through. Look at that. Took Dolly 5 seconds, and Dolly is an active scorer in this power jam.
Pack stalled out between turns 1 and 2, gives Dolly a chance to get around the track. Dolly got some help out there. Pikachu out there, making sure her jammer gets going.
Dolly coming around for scoring pass number 2. We're halfway through the power jam, 30 down, 30 to go. Dolly now trying to get those blockers out, and blockers out of play. Colette Razorcat and Quiver Phoenix parked out there beyond the 20-foot line. Dolly coming around for scoring pass number 3. Clerical note, the quarter's over. This will be the last jam of the third quarter.
Bob Villan making a move, breaking up that front couple skaters there, keeping them out of play.
That'll do it. Dolly racing around the track, but the clock does in fact expire. We will check on the official score like we like to do, and it is a 15-point power jam for Dolly Spartan and the Schoolyard Scrappers. So that'll bring us up to the end of the third quarter. We'll wait for the official signal because that's already burned me once tonight.
4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Making sure there's not a challenge. And maybe. Here comes Ziggy Stardust. Ziggy says, quarter break. That's what we like to hear. Quarter break. We will start our 5-minute quarter break. So stay tuned. Schoolyard Scrappers throw 15 points up on the board to end the third quarter. And they cut that lead down to under 40. Another couple of high-scoring jams. You never know what could happen. Stick around.
All right, fans, get those red raffle tickets out. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. We're going to shuffle these up here. If you're holding red raffle ticket number 411314, you want a Lost Dutchman tattoo gift certificate. 411314. Do I have a winner? Winner!
She's won like 3 times tonight.
Oh my God.
Is the beer window? No.
411314. Hey, and look at that. We got some merch coming around. Make some noise.
All right, Derby fans, third quarter break of the second bout means it is last call for subs, last call for souvenir cups. Get down there and do it. I guess. It came by at like 6 minutes to go and said last call, and I'm like, ooh. They're not prepared for me. They're not prepared for you to say that with 6 minutes to go in the quarter. Sorry. Better than last time. I was like, last call, it's closed. Apparently it's closed. Shortest last call in history.
Can you hear this?
All right, we get back to it now. Here we are, beginning of the fourth quarter.
It's a pretty hurt machine out there on the jammer line for the Scrappers.
Your Brutal Beauties jammer for the first time this evening is Lightning the Queen. Jam underway. Hurt up to the outside. Lightning tries to find a... Hurt's already out. There goes Lightning right behind. Lightning kind of tumbled over and got a block from Slaya. So here comes Lightning. Pretty Hurt machine approaching the pack now and trying to knock blockers out of the way. Hurt gets by that one skater and calls it off. You'll note, of course, that we have two sisters skating for the Beauties tonight. Cherry Kiss, a regular member of the Beauties, Lightning the Queen, her slightly older sister, subbing tonight. So 2 points for the Scrappers there.
Well, and Mom's out there too. Novacaine's on the line tonight too.
This
She's
also
in the blocker
true.
right
Yeah,
now.
there's Novocaine. I forgot
Nikki
about her.
Badass out there to jam for the Scrappers.
Jammer
Nikki tries the high side, tries to get out of the track like a shortcut. And Nikki goes right, goes left, goes all over the place and gets out.
trying to fight at the front of the pack, now getting knocked around and then just clearing the way. Bullying their way through is Stevie Thunder, clearing a path and making a person-sized hole and getting through it. Nikki up to the high side, then manages to duck through on the inside before Quiver Phoenix can close the door. Nikki finishes off the scoring pass and calls it off.
I see Sandra Slay O'Connor coming to the jammer line for the Scrappers.
4 more points for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Keeping you updated, that lead is at 32. That's how the Scrappers are going to have to do it, is just keep chipping away and getting lead jammer. Looks like we've got Gypsy Danger spun off to the infield. Gypsy is your jammer for the Brutal Beauties. Gypsy up to the outside. And Gypsy is lead jammer. And Gypsy is doing what we call bleeding a little bit of time off the clock, which is a perfectly suitable strategy for a team in the lead. Gypsy in no great hurry to get around and start the scoring pass. Sandy at the back of the pack and still trying to find an opening. That Brutal Beauties defense is being unforgiving as it has been all night. Gypsy getting knocked around now by the defense at the front of the pack. Tries to get by, trying to put a couple more points on the board and manages to get it done. And that was pretty much, if you were the Brutal Beauties and could script how you want jams to go here in this quarter, a 60-second jam in which you put 5 points on the board is pretty much exactly what you're looking for from a strategy standpoint. So your Brutal Beauties are going to put 5 points on the board there. Cherry Kiss to the jammer line.
Pikachu back out there. A couple of former minor assaults here. Beauties are down 2 blockers on this jam. Scrappers are sitting 1 blocker, so it's a thin pack.
Yeah, thin pack for sure. Here comes both jammers quickly.
Cherry Kiss in a sandwich between Smalls and Kills. Gets out though, both jammers get out.
So we got a bit of a jammer race now. Cherry says, well, we're up for the game. Peak is going to skate right in behind, and 2 longtime teammates of the minor assaults are going to go around the merry-go-round. Pack just keeps playing keep away. Cherry is going to be unsatisfied unless Cherry gets at least 1 point, apparently.
Sure.
And again, the Brutal Beauties are just running the clock as best they can. Winds up being no points for either side, but again, Cherry Kiss trying to run more time off the clock as best they can. Under 11 minutes to go. Princess Slaya to the jammer line for the Beauties.
Juicy Couture out there for the Scrappers, taking the line. Both jammers approach the back of the pack. Both teams back at full strength.
Slaya tried to sneak by along the inside, and somebody got one gluteus maximus in front of her and knocked her to the infield.
Juicy also got knocked to the infield. Slow getting back out onto the track. But able to get back out and get on skates under her. She gets out as your lead jammer. Went from the back of the track all the way around.
Now the pack's going to try to speed up and keep away. There goes, with a running start, there goes all the Brutal Beauties at once. Big spread open pack. Juicy trying to catch up. Brutal Beauties trying to not get caught. And Juicy calls it off before surrendering any points to the Beauties. Wound up being no points for either side. So again, Brutal Beauties running that clock as best they can. And the Schoolyard Scrappers are going to lose their jammer. It's a power jam for the Brutal Beauties. 9:30 to go. The Brutal Beauties are trying to maintain that lead. And this could go a long way to help with Evil Twin at the jammer line. Twin fights through the defense and gets out quickly. Beauties are going to try to use this full minute to get as much on the board as they can and try to put this out of reach if possible. 39 seconds to go in the power jam, and Twin spun off to the infield.
Scrappers making Evil Twin earn every single point.
"20 seconds left in the power jam. A couple of blockers take a tumble. Twin gets up at the back of the pack and will start over. And Evil Twin trying to navigate as many people as possible. But again, at this point of this quarter, they're able to get all past and get all the points in that scoring pass. But again, the main goal here is to run the clock as much as possible. The clock will run for as many as 30 seconds after each jam before it freezes, before the next jam starts. And the Beauties are definitely playing clock management here.
Dolly Spartan out there on the track for the Scrappers.
We're going to have Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties.
Slow pack, slow jammers.
In Bank Track Roller Derby, you cannot stop on the track. You must proceed forward at even a glacial pace, which is what you saw there at the beginning. You've got to keep moving. It doesn't have to be perceptible, but you have to keep moving. In the meantime, both jammers still doing battle. Dolly pinned in behind those blockers at the front of the pack, tries to get an assist from Pretty Hurt Machine.
And if no jammer gets out, no jammer can call it off. So you got to keep pushing for 60 seconds.
Again, not to overstate the obvious, but the Brutal Beauties are more than happy to just let that whole clock expire and let the clock keep on spinning. So Dolly Spartan did get out, and we did technically have a lead jammer, but that's entirely academic. So 6:45 to go. Brutal Beauties continue to maintain that lead.
Nikki Badass coming to the line here for the Scrappers once again.
Cherry Kiss will step up to the line for the Brutal Beauties. Cherry Kiss goes right up the middle of the track and is able to get by a blocker. Dispensed with Pikachu. Nikki Badass gets right out behind, and this is going to be a very, very fast pair of skaters. Don't blink. Cherry to the inside, tries to fly by and get some points. Nikki up to the high side. We'll have to check on the score there. A good old-fashioned jammer race here in the later parts of the game. Well then, Cherry Kiss gets all 4 of those points and keeps the Scrappers from scoring, so that was a pretty well-timed call-off from midair, nonetheless. Princess Leia to the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties now.
Pretty Hurt Machine out there on the jammer line here for the Scrappers.
right, jam underway. Hertz trying to find an opening at the front of the pack already. Oh, lost her balance and took a tumble. Gets back up and proceeds on. Pretty Hurt Machine is your lead jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Now Hurt quickly to the outside and just kind of blasts right through the middle of Colette Razorcat and NC Jammer. Hurt finishing off that scoring pass. Now Slaya gets out of the pack for the Beauties. So we'll try to cap this at one more scoring attempt for Pretty Hurt Machine.
Call it.
And Hurt got bumped off to the infield, so it looked like with Slaya coming in the back end, once again, never give up on the jam. Princess Slaya sliding in at the end and probably picked up. There we go. I hear in my ear 2 points for the Brutal Beauties, 8 points for the Scrappers. 4:30 to go in regulation.
172, Pikachu.
That's Stevie Thunder at the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties.
Trying
46 seconds left here on the jam clock. Stevie is probably having more success. Stevie trying to get those blockers. Stevie tiptoeing along. Stevie using the toe blocks. Did not appear very superstitious there. Stevie with conviction gets through the pack. And Stevie takes advantage of a whole lot of action going on, and we've had our first panty pass of the night. That's a star pass. Nikki Badass is now going to put the star on and become the jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers. That is a totally legal move, by the way, to pass that. So Stevie got knocked around and ends up calling it off there in the front straightaway. And we're going to have a brief stoppage in play. Let's find out what kind. We've got a team
Hey, Derby
timeout.
fans, we're going to do one last pass for 50-50 raffle tickets. 50-50 raffle is at $365. So if you were waiting for it to get good to buy in, now's your chance. Coming back through, $5 for one ticket, $10 for three. Making one last pass for some 50-50 raffle tickets. Trying to push this up over 400.
Once all the scoring was in from that last jam, we had basically a vice versa of the previous jam. That ended up being 8 points for the Beauties and 2 for the Scrappers. So that offsets the 2 and 8 jam we had previously. So it'll be 3:10 left once this team timeout is over. We're just about wrapped up with the evening. We, as always, hope that you are here with us in person or watching nearby on Twitch, that you'll join us at the after party at Thunderbird Lounge on 7th Avenue, just north of Indian School. Fantastic food, drinks, and fun. Hang out with some of your favorite skaters and other people from the league. It will be a lot of fun. It always is. If you'll be heading home at the end of the festivities, don't forget our next bout is January 28th, 3 weeks from tonight. Coffin Draggers versus the Bombshells, and our Minor Assaults versus our Minor Assaults. Next bout after that is on February 25th. As we head down towards the end of this season. All right, we're getting back to the action. It's going to be a power jam here for the Schoolyard Scrappers after all that was sorted out.
Sandra Slay O'Connor out there on the jammer line trying to pick up some points for the Scrappers. .46 points separating these two teams. That's a long way, but it's not out of reach. If you've been a Derby fan, you know. And just like that, Sandra Slay O'Connor gets out. 40 seconds left on this jam. Pack picking up some speed, though, in the back. team's accordion. Trying to get players stuck in the back. Sandy gets knocked off the track, has to get back on behind Princess Leia.
Just 5 seconds left on this Power Jam clock. Sandy up to the outside and trying to pick up those last couple of points. And we'll have to check on that score there and see how far into that scoring pass Sandy did get. Winds up being 5 points for Sandy, so Sandy got all 5 of the points on that pass. Under 2 minutes to go in regulation. And jamming for the Brutal Beauties is Evil Twin.
Jamming for the first time tonight. That's Tequila out there. Tequila coming to the line for the Scrappers. Try to put a couple points on the board.
And right down the middle of the pack goes Evil Twin, taking lead jammer for the Brutal Beauties. Couple of collisions there as the pack comes into the back straight away. Evil Twin's going to try to navigate through. Now making it through, finishing off the scoring pass. 30 seconds to go. There's 17 seconds left on the jam clock here, and Evil Twin trying to get by. Nikki Badass throwing a hard block into Twin. Tequila out the front of the pack as Evil Twin finishes off that scoring pass. Tequila is trying to get back around, and the clock expires. Tequila was working on trying to get close enough for a scoring pass. So 9 points for the Brutal Beauties. And we are approaching what will be our last jam of the regulation period. It's going to be Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties.
Pretty hurt machine out there for the Scrappers. Gonna take the jam, take the line this time. Hurt gets right out pretty quickly, turn 1. Gypsy Danger still working way through the pack. Tied up with Bob Villain, knocked to the infield.
Quarter clock has expired. About 30 seconds left on the jam clock, though. Hurt gets out. Gypsy had already got out of the pack as well, so Hurt calls it off. We will check on the penalty situation here. See if a penalty jam is forthcoming. There is not going to be a penalty jam coming. I heard penalties on the Scrappers, so we will wait and see for the official signal from our head referee. Check that final score there momentarily. Everybody's still talking. Let's wait. All right, no, here comes head referee Zero Cool. That signal makes it official. Final score of 159-113. Brutal Beauties are victorious and move to 3-0 on the season, remaining undefeated.
Come on down to the track. Congratulate these skaters for a great bout. Oh, money.
Brutal Beauties making their way down, and